This video is intended to be an in-depth description of a lightblade talisman named Victory. I will go ahead and start off the primary blade banding consisting of golden healer quartz, and this will be my dilapidated cruise chakra map for reference. As a digression, golden healer quartz has a very strong high heart stimulation heart chakra to the connection of source creation, so it works as a very fantastic subcapacitation agent for the entirety of the primary blade band focus, which is that of a victorious red ray emanation stabilized and stimulated. Going into amber. Amber, not technically a mineral, but a tremendously potent transmutation agent based on a solar disposition that has a very nice stimulation to the solar plexus that clarifies intention, as well as, just like any other transmutation agent mentioned in this video, after this, takes all negativity and turns it into positivity by successfully turning the negativity into transmuted into a positive output. So the aspect of amber also is a tremendous abundance frequency based on turning negativity into positivity. So if you feel good vibes and feel abundant, naturally the emanation follows into manifestation in all context. Amber, then into red jasper. Red jasper is a quintessential stabilization red ray of the mineral kingdom to stimulate the root chakra to an impeccable stable fashion. Then going into golden healer quartz once again to ignite the golden white light sun, then into amber, then into ruby. Ruby is of course a true precious stone and the most powerful stimulant of the red ray root chakra mineral kingdom, and as well as a very well utilized frequency throughout millennia of ruling castes of kings and queens and different aspects of being a precious stone to be a very powerful root chakra zest for life energy stimulant. So when you take the combination of the golden healer quartz of the gold white light Christ source frequency emanation, then with amber to make a purification, then to stabilize root chakra, then to stimulate it, gets a truly tremendously stable, strong, purified root chakra with a Christ frequency emanation subcapacitation. So that would be just the primary blade band of what I consider to be a very victorious output. And of course, in the aspect of stabilizing the root chakra as well as stimulating the root chakra in tandem. So that blade band continues like so, then goes into the transmutation ratio seen here, up the sides, over here, and then recirculated over here to contain that circuit of the primary blade banding. The transmutation sequence consists of hematite and smoky quartz. They both have basically the same stimulation pathway that has both of them have a very strong grounding, rooting energy to the root chakra, then into the earth stars, the chakras beneath your feet, then into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So the entire aspect of having the scaffolding running into this transmutation ratio that runs a, of course, reactive current is to, like the iron of hematite, to ground all the energy through, smoky quartz to further transmute and purify negativity into positivity to ensure that all excess energy grounds to the root into the earth stars and then into the earth meridian matrix for processing, generates a truly tremendous another layer of transmuting a negativity by strongly having a two-way bypass into Mother Earth for rapid transference. So you can see also this ratio producing more of like an etheric Teflon generation, so any kind of incoming energy of the field gets rapidly regulated and discharged consistently into Mother Earth, which has multiple purposes also to take all the excessive exotic energies yet to be mentioned and also make a very strong grounding pathway as a foundation of the scaffolding. So that'll make more sense in context when it comes to the aspects of all the extremely exotic components in this construct that have a very strong grounded platform disposition. To, of course, most importantly, bring all the excess energy into tangibility range and ground to Mother Earth to make the magic real. At the very apex of the blade band, this is where, of course, the necklace obviously will hook into, is a combination of pyrite, which is actually a masculine variant cousin to hematite, both being iron-based minerals, except pyrite has a very strong directional focus on the solar plexus, which gives it more of a yang masculine tone, as well as being very effective for focusing and channeling all excess energy through a broadcast of intention. Then with the pyrite there, as well as clear quartz to serve as a neutral subcapacitation, as well as a natural neutral ambient energy resonance. So of course the idea of clear quartz too, it works perfectly in tandem with the higher self blueprint of the practitioner wielding this construct in the capacity of it being a very neutral accelerant that can actually hold a current and work in great harmony with ambient natural energy of the higher self template of the recipient. Then, of course, igniting like so, closing that circuit right into this lateral band to, of course, basically make more or less a figure 8 of continuous perpetual energy as just the primary blade band scaffolding. Then moving into the blade face down here, so the aspect also of Victory having a large concentration of fire agate is the most stabilized fire energy in the mineral kingdom. So it takes a very strong stabilization of the fire element and stimulates the base, sacrum, and solar plexus, lower 3 chakras, in the most stabilized fashion. So of course that's a very powerful component to have stabilized endurance to be in the victorious ratio, and that is a quintessential placement. Hence it's of course quite protruding and quite obvious because its highlight focus is quite evident in its structure of a very victorious output. Then right above that fire agate is the lovely legendary Moldavite. Even in a small dose is quite potent in a closed loop circuit. Moldavite is a green ray storm elemental frequency of dramatic high source connectivity to a particular green ray heart chakra alignment lens, back to spirit. And it's quite the powerful stone, as well as being rather in vogue in this timeline due to the fact of its being well notarized as a tremendous dharmic accelerant into one's reality of the highest path manifest. Hence, of course, it could be an agent of change and great shifts into one's reality, into the true self. So, of course, that's where the connotations of being rather infamous in this timeline for being a stone that ruins people's lives is based on the aspect of being such a karmic kick in the pants towards one's path so quickly that it, of course, will change the inner world and outer world to its highest configuration and dismantle all false self-imprintations that basically keep one not in complete alignment or impede their direct connection to creation. So, tremendous stone in its own right, and I think that's enough digression on that one little green wonder. Then transferring into Libyan gold tektite. Libyan gold tektite is actually mostly like a gold ray vibrational cousin to Moldavite, lesser known, but was utilized in ancient Egypt by the pharaoh caste as part of their power regalia they would wear. And so it has that, of course, amazing Egyptian magical connotation. It's also in a more pragmatic standpoint from this day and age, from the perspective of now, it also carries the aspect of being a very powerful storm and fire energy overtone frequency. So you can see, of course, it's yellow, which has a strong submission to the solar plexus and the sacrum, being a cardinal fire energy with full light body storm overtone simulations. That also, of course, brings a very intensive highlighted focus to the solar plexus, and of course putting one's intention in touch with their divine creation, with the highest connection point. So that can be considered another tremendous dharmic accelerant in that right, as well as being a very powerful, beneficent stone of positivity and high light, so to speak. And is a really, really amazing, underwhelmingly underrated frequency in this day and age for any arsenal of a light worker. Then transitioning right here is the lovely, incredible Seraphinite. It's named after the seraphim archangels and obviously has a green ray concentration connotation that can be associated to the heart chakra stimulation. Yet the aspect of Seraphinite is tremendously fully stimulating to the entire chakra column from top to bottom. Every single chakra node in the column actually stimulate in unison to bring a full light body alignment from top to bottom. And truly one of the greatest master healers of this age, named after the seraphim archangels due to the capacity of also, of course, of having cellular respiration of seraphic frequency be imbued through the system. So naturally having a prominent piece of this in a closed loop circuit will naturally make a vibratory induction of the circuitry system while this is born through the entire system to carry that seraphic current through the entire natural auric field. As well as being a tremendous, powerful dismantler of dis-ease in all capacities, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and perhaps as well the most powerful dis-ease dismantlers of the mineral kingdom by being such a diverse seraphic imbuement frequency, and considered a tremendous boon to any light worker to be able to have this frequency in touch with their practice, of course, because having the seraphic assistance to perform the functions at the highest level, particularly in service to others or spaces, places, and beings, to have that nice high seraphim archangel boost of healing modality through the entire structure as a background frequency is quite advantageous. Then the other side of the blade face right here, consisting of cinnabar. Cinnabar is a tremendously potent quintessential stone of sorcery, if you would, by being a dramatic alchemical enhancer to purify any stray and stagnant patterns from the entire auric field. The strongest stimulation is probably the root, the sacrum, and the third eye in unison to make a very, very, very powerful dynamic shift change, as well as put one's consciousness in the flows of the etheric matter that actually manifests physicality. So this is pretty much the quintessential sorcerer archetype frequency stone, in my humble opinion. So even a small dose in this little reactive circuit, of course, goes a very long way to be a tremendous dharmic accelerant as well in tandem with that. So an amazing frequency of true alchemical progression. Then to bring the antithesis into obvious view of the red jasper being a very stabilized root chakra energy is the lovely piece of blue lace agate. Blue lace agate is a strong stabilizer of the 5th chakra in a water elemental focus, which of course is a perfect antithesis to the red and blue being stabilized together. That's why, of course, the prominent piece here is designed to be a very big, perfect balanced antithesis to the stabilization primary directive of red jasper. As well as to stabilize one's 5th chakra, it comes to aspects of practicing or just being a human. Having a stabilized 5th chakra is quite advantageous to be able to speak coherently, particularly when it comes to extremely obscure metaphysical concepts. So that's going to be a very helpful aspect of course, bringing communication in effortless flow. Then right here is the lovely sunstone. Sunstone is a tremendous stimulant to the sacrum and solar plexus chakra. It is a very fantastic sunny fire energy elemental frequency that brings great light to the field, as well as intensify one's intentions, and be a tremendous stone of abundance and blessings by having that nice inner solar energy, of course, which works perfectly in tandem with the amber. So a very, very sunny little piece right there. And next I'll be getting into the complexities where the hood will eventually be installed. So after this video is concluded and all these frequencies are notarized, this will be concealed with white leather, not exactly this strip, but at least for example, to be a insulation, a color therapy resonance of the full white ray, the 7 rays diffused, as well as a way to protect the subtle terminations of this entire section that's going to be quite vast in its own right. So I'll go ahead and start on this side. Starting right here is the lovely emerald. Emerald's a fantastic quintessential green ray stone of abundance, known through the morphic field of humanity for thousands of years in recorded history of being just that. A stone of great abundance, as well as a stone of royalty, which of course has great connotations of its origin being very powerfully rooted in human consciousness of being, like I said, the stone of royal abundance. Then clear quartz to work an acceleration into peridot. Peridot is a lovely 3rd and 4th stimulant as well, and a tremendous frequency of growth and positivity. So you can consider my quintessential blend, I guess you could say, of the abundance ratio to be sunstone, peridot, and emerald. That's exactly why they're mounted in this trifecta in this circuit, which will be partially visible as well as concealed by the leather, but the abundance ratio indeed is there, represented even in a small dose of this newer construct bound for distribution. Then, as another perfect antithesis to all this very aggressive, activating, action-oriented frequency of victory being a strong red stabilized and strong red ray emanation, is the lovely Larimar. Larimar is an extremely soothing 5th, 6th chakra stimulant containing the aspects of water and fire in conjunction, as a tremendous soother of the 5th chakra as well as the mind. So you can think of this being an oasis of calm generator, which would be, once again, another contingency with such a inherently active, I don't want to say aggressive, vibratory disposition. It's all about the balance and contingencies at times when it comes to intensive vibrational engineering seen here. Particularly when the aspect of discussing the mighty force of zincite in direct conjunction. Zincite is a very, very inherently powerful frequency that I consider to be rather volatile, ungoverned, much like molavite. So, of course, when the employment of zincite in any given construct is there, there's many contingencies in play to get the most out of it while maintaining balance of the overture, because zincite is a very intensive, explosive activation of the root, the sacrum, and the solar plexus, nearly unrivaled in the mineral kingdom for the dynamic, explosive activation of the lower three, which of course puts the recipient in touch with the flows of creation very dramatically, and is a very, very powerful, I guess you could say, false self-matrix limitation buster that really puts one literally the driver's seat of their true connection of creation, of any kind of beliefs that are limiting their natural vibratory output's highest potential. So having the zincite there is truly a victorious energy of great high potency, as well as it's a slight white-blue hue of the zincite, which is rather rare, which of course carries the emanation through the entire structure very evenly. Oftentimes, zincite will come in yellow and orange, typical fire or energy oriented, but this is actually quite advantageous to have that dynamic blast of force of zinc, concentrated to be called zincite, to be in a relatively whitish, clear structure, which was pretty much idyllic to take that explosive activation and diffuse the current through the entire 7 rays, much like the white leather. Then underneath that right there, to make great acceleration of that exact frequency connection, is actually rutilated quartz. That little bolt right here next to the zincite. It's quartz, which I mentioned was a neutral programmable accelerant. Then you put bands of rutile inside the structure, naturally grown. It makes a supercharging of the entire energy field. So naturally, having the extreme exaggeration amplification next to the zincite makes a dramatic expansion and focus of this entire energy. But naturally, this goes without saying, since it's on a reactive circuit, all these frequencies, of course, are pinging off each other and as they complete its circuit. So naturally, of course, that generates the entire vibrational compound interest as a whole, but the direct termination, of course, gives extreme acceleration before it gets redirected into the primary wire. Then, right here, is the lovely black obsidian, here from Mount Shasta. Black obsidian, much like smoky quartz, is a black ray strong transmuter negativity into positivity by grounding excess energy into Mother Earth. And the other side of where the hood will be installed is the lovely turquoise. Turquoise, of course, is a 5th chakra stimulant. That's a, I guess you could say, a stone of great antiquity that goes without saying, where it's a favorite of millions for thousands of years for a very good reason. Based on also its sheer beauty, it also brings a strong wholeness focus to the 5th chakra, and has a very strong, nice stimulation to the entire energy system and meridians as a general. Then next to that right here is the lovely tanzanite. Tanzanite is virtually the most impeccable heart-mind coherence engagement mineral kingdom, stemming the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical soul star for impeccable heart-mind coherence. So even a small dose of that particular frequency broadcast will make a very powerful higher mind, higher heart, conscious integration scaffolding, which would be very advantageous for aspects of wielding high theurgy or magic, I guess you could say. But anyhow, moving on. Then, of course, to balance out all this aggressive, I keep wanting to not really say that, but it is a rather dynamic, impactful, victorious frequency, so I'm obviously doing a little bit to downplay that. And to be a pro-antithesis to like this intensive red ray focus would be the white ray scoicite, which is a fantastic stimulant to the 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakras above all the way back to the Godhead. So that's a great stone of divinity, inner peace. Then right here is star argonite, another master healer of the mineral kingdom that works great in tandem with seraphinite. Virtually all lightblade wands, even talismans for that matter, will have a combination somehow, some way of the seraphinite and the argonite for a very distinct purpose. Argonite is actually a calcium-based full light body stimulant, which also means it stimulates the entire chakra column from top to bottom in unison. As well as it being a calcium-based, it also works to clear stagnant patterns that are manifesting as dis-ease, as well as it being a premier light body stimulator. Also works to rapidly clear anything that is inhibiting the highest light body manifesting on a physical template. So that's a truly advantageous master healer right there. Then over here, let's see here, where are you at? There it is. Down right here in the middle of this is also black tektite, which is the product of nickel meteorite impacting sand to carry that extraterrestrial jolt into 3D reality from outer space, which gives a very cosmic boost. And it's black ray stone that gives a strong stimulation to the entire Cooling Center from the black ray Earth all the way up to fortify the entirety of the light body scaffolding from, luckily, the ground up as a tremendous fortifier of high vibrational energy. Then next to that would be shungite. Shungite is a carbon-based black ray charcoal filter energy equivalent that is tremendous, just like smoky quartz, to actually mitigate all negativity by ground through the earth for reprocessing. As well as it's quite in vogue these days for being a tremendous 5G energy radiation from modern technology that would possibly harm and corrupt the subtle DNA that our cellular structure derives from for impeccable health. Then down here, to bring further stability to the entire overture of this energy mentioned thus far, is moss green agate. Moss green agate is a great stimulant and stabilizer of the green ray heart chakra, water energy. Then above that is the lovely, legendary, and rather rare holly blue agate. Holly blue agate is a purple ray 6/7 stimulant of wind. So when you have the aspect also of the stabilization of earth found in red jasper, stabilization of fire agate, stabilization of water, both in this context of the green as well as the blue. This is actually water elemental frequency. Then you have the aspect also of the purple ray wind. It brings the stabilization of earth, fire, water, and wind through the entire center as a stabilized backdrop stimulation diffuser, if you would. Then above that, to bring further context into balance, is the lovely pink ray kunzite, lithium-based pink ray high divine heart chakra stimulant. To be a nice little balanced everything, so that'd be the entirety of the section where the hood will be installed, described in great detail. So it's a few more things, but one of the more important aspects also, hardwired to see in this video since it's due to it being highly concealed by wire, there is actually a Herkimer diamond faceted piece down here with a white diamond mounted to it, an authentic white diamond, as well as an authentically faceted small blue sapphire. Blue sapphire is the perfect antithesis to ruby in the mineral kingdom, both being a corundum family, oftentimes a 9 out of 10 in hardness, which gives a very hard vibrational structure, as well as another stone of great royalty and wisdom is blue sapphire, making a strong stimulation of the 5th and 6th wind elemental frequency, a stone of great royal wisdom for thousands of years, hence it's a true precious stone. And the Herkimer diamond, of course, working down here, is also a tremendous clear ray frequency that works as a dramatic amplification of what other frequency is actually mounted to it. So having the apex of the talisman having a dramatic boost of the blue ray, as well as the diamond. The diamond, of course, is a very famous true stone of precious royalty, as well as being a white ray frequency of 10 out of 10 hardness, stimulates the entire chakra column with great power, and since it's a carbon-based resonance, has a very powerful dynamic flow of energy to dramatically intensify and strengthen the auric field. Hence, diamond also can be considered a quintessential stone of victory, so obviously it's a device intended to encapsulate and capture that energy of victory. Obviously need a little bit of white diamond, even in a very small dose, to be in honor and accordance of the archetypal output intention. So that would be the entirety of that structure mentioned thus far, and the aspect also down here I saved for last as a capstone of any given video, obviously, is taking the aspect of the selenites as well as the kyanites. I'll go ahead and describe the selenite first in one go. So all these frequencies mentioned in one closed loop reactive circuit. Here's where, of course, the selenite comes in last for context. Selenite by itself is a tremendous 6th, 7th, 8th higher chakra, Godhead connection, two-way gateway to the higher self in one frequency boon, as well as being a tremendous agent to clear any stagnancies from the entire auric field or negative densities that will be stuck in the entire natural, healthy auric flow. But where it really shines the most in any given spiritual is the capacity to take this entire algorithm and purify all the energy mentioned thus far, then to harmonize all the energy thus far, then to amplify all the energies. So you take the trifecta of this entire dissertation, and you have the purification of all stones mentioned in one circuit. You have the amplification of all of them, and harmonizing them together in that trifecta is always the grounds of a truly effective, dynamic, spiritual, in my humble opinion, of my obsessive life's work R&D, if you would. Then you have the 4 spectrums of kyanite. You have black kyanite to make very rapid bridges of energy through the root chakra into the earth for very rapid reprocessing. Orange kyanite to bridge the sacrum chakra to the highest absolute dharmic configuration. Then green kyanite to bridge the heart chakra to the highest dynamic range. Then blue kyanite to bridge the neural pathway centers to the highest dynamic range. So when you have the aspects of the 4 kyanites, also makes transferability of energy very effective, as well as being another auto-regulation sequence that ensures that the highest flow. My poor little chakra map's getting so beat up from all the times I do that in videos. Anyhow, so the aspect of the 4 kyanites, like I was saying, will also bridge the energies in a very autodynamic range to the highest configuration to make very, very rapid etheric Teflon transferences, so that you can think of any stagnant flows of energy get rapidly bridged and flow and bypassed at a very reactive circuit, so that no negativity of any kind can actually stick in the parameters of such impeccable transferability, if you would. So the aspect of kyanites are quite the rabbit hole to get into, but that's the basic scope and scale of the 4 spectrums of kyanite easily available to me in one dynamic circuit to, of course, make the transferences of all this frequency very dynamic and very real. That's the whole point of Light Tech Initiative, is to actually have tangibility in mind to make the magic real, if you would. And so last but absolutely not least, at the very apex of the blade band seen right here is the mighty and powerful fulgurite. Fulgurite is literally the power of lightning petrified into sand when lightning struck sand, which mimics that frequency in the entire energy body, which is of course the power of lightning mimicked and caught in crystalline structure, make a very dynamic, impeccable, full unified light body dynamic range, which has a stimulation range that's very, very potent in the mineral kingdom for full light body dynamic activation, as well as dramatic intensification of one's prayers throughout reality for manifestation. Hence, it was actually well utilized by shamans and medicine women of old of First Nation tribes to be very powerful accelerants of their prayers back to spirit. So that'd be the shamanic use of fulgurite by itself, not to mention it's of course wire wrapped to silver, wire wrapped to a dynamic primary wire consisting of the brass, copper, and silver spooled together to be the triangulation of the metals for the main vein of this entire device, if you would, to, of course, bring the aspect of the intake, output, and the ground points in perfect harmony balance. At least that's the idea. Well, that concept right there. And all this frequency has been mounted on a oak core from my lovely backyard here in Mount Shasta to be a dynamic strengthening frequency of victorious output is the energy of the oak. Hence it was, well, of course, notarized as being a tree of gods, kings, and heroes based on its strong atomical structure. So that'd be the, actually that would be it. That'd be the entirety concept of the victory talisman, notarized and very, very, very well at this point. So, as a summary, the victory talisman is designed to have a very obviously multi-tiered dynamic intensive range of ensuring the strongest victorious output of the ideal grounded, strengthened, ideal energy template of the Dharmic self configured. So, that'd be the aspect of victory in a nutshell, to be a very dynamic, enhancing, and strengthening and fortifying force to serve the recipient well on all the endeavors on the path of being a light worker, or a sourcer, to put things in perspective. And this is one of the best answers possible to be set in stone in a very condensed, it's relatively small for how power-packed it is, device to be a talisman to be worn on the person. Well, that'd be the entirety and scope and scale of Victory, the Lightblade Talisman. I pray everybody has a great day, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.